This is going to be your complete setup guide for a Bitaxe or a nerdaxe miner. And I'm going to tell you also what the odds of actually mining a Bitcoin are, and if it actually is close or comparable to an actual lottery ticket. Now, I made a video recently about this cute little $35 Bitcoin miner, which is an actual miner, but at 300 kilohash, that's only 300,000 guesses a second. Now, that might seem like a lot, but this guy right here at 4.8 terahash gives me 4.8 trillion guesses every single second. That's 16 million times more than this little guy. And just a few days ago, a Bitcoin miner about this size did manage to mine a full block on its own. So it is definitely possible with a device of this size. So let's get this thing set up and I'll tell you the most important things that you need to know. But first, I do need to say that Bitcoin Merch did send me this Bitcoin miner free of charge, but all the thoughts in this video are my own. And please remember, I'm not a financial advisor, nor is this financial advice. Everything shared here is for educational and informational purposes only. And always do your own research and make your own decisions. All right, let's get cooking. All right, so obviously the first thing is to plug this thing in. Whoa, that's cool. So once you're plugged in, you're gonna wanna go on your phone or on a laptop to hook up this miner to your actual Wi-Fi. So on my laptop, if I just click on the Wi-Fi and then I go to other networks, I'll see it right down here. It's the nerdaxe F819, which is what it says right here on my Wi-Fi portal. Now, obviously, if you get one of these miners from an actual mining retailer, like a lot of these places, they are going to be a little bit more expensive than if you got it, say, from Amazon or AliExpress, but you'll find some links in the description below for a few different places that you could purchase them if you want. And once we connect to the Wi-Fi on this device, it's going to actually pop up the portal page that we can log in and connect this device to the Wi-Fi that we have. Now, one really important thing to note is that this needs to be connected to a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi or it will not work. It's going to give you all kinds of configuration issues, so don't do it. And if yours only has a 5 gigahertz, you might want to look into the settings of how you can set that up, because many routers will actually have an option to set up the 2.4 gigahertz as well if you want. So we're going to go into settings, and then here we have our Wi-Fi settings. Now, the host name is just whatever you want this device to be called. So we're actually just going to change this to NerdQaxe. And for the Wi-Fi network, you're going to put in the name of your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, as well as the password. Now for the Stratum host, that's the address of whatever pool you're going to use to mine from. There are plenty of public pools that are good for solo mining. I'm going to have a few options here. The main one that we're going to put for our primary solo mining is Solo CK Pool. It's very common, probably one of the most common ones. And the Stratum port is 3333. And then when it comes to your username, that is where you put your Bitcoin address. Now, a common question many people have is, where do I get a Bitcoin address? I usually recommend a cold storage wallet. It's the most secure, and it actually is one that where you're holding the coins yourself. You're not allowing a third party to hold them for you. So wallets like Ledger or Trezor are great options for that. If you don't want to get a cold storage, there's also plenty of app wallets. You can get Wallet of Satoshi. That's a very common one that you can use. If you just really want to start basic, is you can even just use Coinbase as that. Many people use Coinbase. That's usually where they might buy their Bitcoin. And it's actually quite simple to get the wallet from your Coinbase account. So we're going to do is when you get to Coinbase, you're going to go to receive crypto. And if you click on receive crypto down here, you're going to want to click on the Bitcoin option. And then you're going to click on Bitcoin default. And then right here, this is actually the address. So if you actually just click copy right there, then you just paste this wallet address into the username on the setup of your nerd miner. Now, putting a .NerdQaxe is not required, but if you do that, that basically just makes it a simple way that you can keep track of which miner. Because if you have multiple miners, it's going to be an easy way for you to be able to tell them apart on the network. Now, you can also set up a fallback pool with another solo mining pool in case this pool has any issues. So if we go to our fallback pool, then we're just going to continue that. Another one that's very common is Brains has a solo pool that you can use. So we're just going to put in the details for that one and the same Bitcoin address that we used in the previous one. Once you have the solo pool address, Stratum port, and your Bitcoin wallet in there, you can just leave the password the same. And then when you come down here, you're just going to click save and then restart the device. It's that simple. Now, after you restarted the device, if it didn't seem to take your settings, you might need to do it one more time and click the save button and then restart. But if you just give it a little bit of time, then usually it will be up and running. Now, to get in the dashboard to check how things are going, you can see this small IP address at the top here. And that's basically what we can put into any browser. And that will let us log into our device that's on our network right now. And you can see that this device now is hashing at just around 4.8 terahash. It tells what our efficiency, so that's basically how many watts that we're using for our power, which is just under 18 watts. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the settings page, you'll notice that there is release and update. All you have to do is click install from GitHub. When it's uploading, obviously don't touch your device, don't disconnect the power. That could cause some issues with it. Just wait until it's fully updated. Now, many people wonder what the difference between solo mining and pool mining. And basically with solo mining, I'm basically using this one miner to try a chance at winning my own block. With a pool mining, I'm putting the hash rate of this miner in a big pool with a bunch of other Bitcoin miners, and I'll be getting a small payout relative to the amount of hash rate that I'm adding to the pool. I think the biggest thing to understand with these is that with the amount of power that these use compared to the amount of hash rate that you put in the pool, it's really not beneficial to use these miners as pool miners at all. We can see this on a basic mining calculator. So if I put in the hash rate of mine and the power consumption, then we can calculate our profit. And that is that we would actually be losing 13 cents a day. But what are the actual odds of mining Bitcoin on a Bitcoin miner like this? So if we go over to the Powerball website, it tells us our odds of winning the Powerball. Now, if we were going to win the grand prize, that would be a 1 in 292 million chance of winning the Powerball. That's not very good odds. Even if we were just doing the $1 million prize, that's 1 in 11.5 million. So how does that compare to our odds of actually mining a Bitcoin block? Well, when you're mining a Bitcoin block, technically you're playing the lottery every 10 minutes because that's how often a Bitcoin block is mined. And every miner that's on the network has the chance of guessing the right hash to win that block. So if we went to solochance.org, we can actually calculate what our odds of winning a Bitcoin block actually are. Our block interval is every 10 minutes. And so that means we have a 1 in 193 million chance in winning a block every single block. So that is actually 1 million better than the grand prize of the Powerball lottery. Now, because there's a block every 10 minutes, that gives you quite a few chances at it. So if you actually look down, if we go to our chances per day, now we're much closer to what would be thought of as more traditional lottery odds. It still is relatively cheap at the cost of electricity per day at being less than 30 cents. And I think one more important thing to remember is that your odds aren't going to stay basically this for the whole time. Basically, year over year, your odds are actually going to decrease because there's going to be more hashing power that's fighting for every single block. Just to put a little realism into this whole thing.